Are you starting to get nervous?
Yes. Starting? Like as in now, or like has he been nervous?
I've been a little nervous.
Okay.
I've been a little nervous. I'm not going to front. And I'm not joking around. I'm more nervous now.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, a couple of things, because it's important, because we're going to be fair. I'm always fair. That was one of the greatest ass whippings I've ever seen. I mean, excuse my language, Warriors got their asses kicked. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You down as much as 55, and the star that's gone from the team is not yours. It's not like Steph Curry wasn't playing. It's not like Klay Thompson wasn't playing. It's not like Jordan Poole wasn't playing. It's not like Draymond Green wasn't playing. Ja Morant wasn't playing. Now, we've seen the Memphis Grizzlies enjoy success without the services of Ja Morant this year, and we've marveled at it. But nevertheless, nobody in their right mind would believe that you was going to see what you saw last night. I thought Memphis could win this game, and I said that yesterday, that Golden State would go back and give it to them and end this series. But it doesn't matter what happens in Game 6 if the Golden State Warriors win. It don't erase what we saw last night. That was an atrocity. That was one of the worst performances that I've ever seen. And I'm going to say this because this breaks my heart to say this, but I have to say this. One of the luckiest people in the National Basketball Association this morning is Mike Brown, the new coach for the Sacramento Kings. I would remind the world, I know Mike Brown. I love the guy personally. I know about some struggles in Cleveland as a coach, nothing personal. Struggles in L.A., coaching LeBron in Cleveland, coaching Kobe in L.A., struggles. But the bottom line is I respect the hell out of Mike Brown. Mike Brown stands today as the luckiest man in the NBA. Because I assure you, and Jay knows I'm telling the truth when I say this, I don't give a damn what anybody says. If the Sacramento Kings had not made a choice yet, and Mike Brown had coached these last two games the way that this Golden State Warriors team looked, that team would have cost him the head coaching job. I'm not saying it would have been fair. I'm saying that as a person that has covered the NBA for over a quarter century, I'm telling you what I know. And there isn't a soul in the NBA that would deny that this is true. If the Sacramento Kings, they won't admit it now because they already made the hire, but if the Sacramento Kings had not made their choice, considering how Golden State looked, as putrid as they did, and struggling to win Game 4, and then looked the way that they looked last night, it would have cost him that head coaching job.
I get it.
They would not have given it to him.
But how much of a factor is Steve Kerr's absence?
That's where I'm going.
In this loss.
That's where I'm going. Because what I'm saying to you is, under no circumstances have we ever, nor would we ever imagine that we would have seen a performance like that with Steve Kerr coaching this team. Not like that. They've been blown out before under Steve Kerr. Not like that. Not like that. That was an all-time epic embarrassment. And without Ja Morant, that made it even worse. Do I think the Golden State Warriors are going to recover to win this series? Yes. Do I think that they're going to recover enough where they could beat Phoenix still? Yes. But when we talk championships, with what we saw from Milwaukee last night, what we know Boston is capable of, how am I going to sit here with comfort? And let me respect Phoenix. How am I going to, because Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton and Crowder and CP3 and that assassin that is Devin Booker. I can't sit here with comfort and tell you that this Golden State Warriors team that vacillates back and forth, look like a juggernaut 1 minute, look like they don't know how to play together the next. I can't tell you that that's what will win the West. I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing because the inconsistency is what alarmed me. And last night, I mean, damn, I'm trying to go back. I mean, I know teams that have lost by 60 in the regular season. And not like this. Not like that.
Yeah.
Not like this. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.